Welcome to Real v Real, where we let you know what is real in your favorite films and where they took artistic license. What's the science? What's the history? And how true are those true stories? We'll take you inside the creative decisions to learn why sometimes the truth needs a little Hollywood-style help.
We take it in more instead of like throw it out, we take it in. Yeah, I like that.
In this episode of Real v Real, we're looking at the true life drama, Critical Thinking. It's the inspiring true story of an unlikely high school chess team that went from one of the toughest neighborhoods in Miami to the National High School Chess Championships.
Chess is the great equalizer.
The basic story is true, based on the 1998 underdog tale of Miami Jackson High School's historic upset of not just a crosstown rival, but of an entire country of established prep schools and other elite contenders. What might surprise you is that some of the most outlandish scenes in the movie are straight from real life, and the reasoning behind other changes, big and small, were designed to make the truth truthier. Getting this movie made was a labor of love for producer Carla Berkowitz, who saw the story in the Miami Herald's Tropic Sunday magazine. On the cover was Ito, a central figure in the film.
There I was looking at a cover of a magazine with a black guy from the Dominican Republic with dreadlocks holding a king in his hand, looking up, and the title was Kings in the Hood.
Ito was a guy that many, I think, really broke a lot of stereotypes. He didn't look like your everyday chess player.
That's all I was doing every day, playing chess in the morning. We get there before school, we play chess during lunch, and then we play chess after school.
That blew my mind, and that became the genesis of the entire 20-year journey into the making of Critical Thinking.
Getting any film made often relies on inspiring A-list actors to join the production.
I wanted to show how Latin and Black kids have the potential to be so much, and yet they're robbed of it by so many circumstances.
John Leguizamo loved the character of real-life coach Mario Martinez and the relationships and trust that he had with his players. To them, he was far more than just a chess coach.
Well, I always told the kids that, chess is like life. Okay? Just like in life, you have choices. You have to realize those choices. You have to see those choices and the consequences of each. Those things that they learn on the board is how they will carry their lives.
Chess is a metaphor for life. It teaches these kids that if they dedicate themselves and work hard enough, that they can succeed at anything they set their minds to.
And there's always a move, right, Mr. T?
Till there's not.
For Mario, it was somewhat surreal seeing his own life portrayed by Leguizamo.
Come on, you can move the rook up to
Oh, no, that's horrible. That's garbage, garbage. I don't even want to look. I don't want to look. Please tell me that's not what he's doing. I don't want to look.
There is tremendous mutual respect between the real-life and on-screen coaches, but there are definitely differences too.
Well, John did an outstanding job in his role portraying myself in the movie. I think that he needed to gain a few pounds maybe, but he did a great job, really marvelous job, and I give credit to him and his acting ability.
Changes to the truth of the film needed to have a story purpose that amplified the other truths and helped expand the film's audience. One of the changes was the casting of Rachel Bay Jones as the principal of Miami Jackson High School.
In real life, the principal was Lewis Allen. He was a black principal, but in the film, they wanted to go in another direction.
I felt the movie was starting to get a little heavy at the top with men and not enough women. So I took a very huge liberty and cast Rachel Bay Jones, even though it was cheating a bit, movie cheat a bit. So initially I did it out of aesthetic and out of balance for the film. But then I started thinking, if I made this principal a complete 180, this was not the typical principal that you would see in the school that at that point in time was defined by its own zip code.
Kids like this from places like Dade County don't ever make it to team regionals.
Then it shouldn't be too hard for them to swallow.
But this Michelle Pfeiffer-esque moment, she got it too, and that was, I think, very not true. but yet if it would have been true, would have been absolutely astounding and fantastic.
Another change that the filmmakers felt was kind of poetic justice was the inclusion of the character Ito on the 1998 team.
Even though Ito did not actually play that year in '98, because he had already graduated, because Ito was the genesis of the entire 20-year critical thinking journey, that was the reason that we took the most creative license in the whole movie, adding Ito to the team and the movie, because he wasn't in it that year. But we decided what he represented to us meant more than feeling badly about using movie magic and creative license.
I would not be here right now if it wasn't for chess. I probably would have dropped out of school, been doing some other stuff. I'll be dead honest, bro.
Convincing real-life people to accept the fictionalization of their lives is not an easy thing.
And so they got a little personal with some of the ways that Ditto, the scriptwriter, and/or John were going to portray them. And I kept trying to tell them throughout the years that this was not a documentary, this was a movie about them, based on a true story. There's a very delicate balance between making something cinematically appealing and beautiful and making sure that you understand that you are the custodian of somebody's life rights.
One of the most incredible scenes in the movie seems like it would have to come from the fantastic imagination of a Hollywood screenwriter. But Marcel, playing blind chess against multiple players, was not only real, but was originally captured by CNN.
When Marcel actually came to the school, CNN, as well as CBS, NBC, I mean, everyone came.
The real blind scene happened with CNN. Larry Woods was there filming it.
They are still producing champions here at my old alma mater 44 years later.
I think it astonished all the ones that were filming for CNN because Marcel won each players after 30 or 40 moves. But not only did he beat each of the players, okay, he would tell them where all the pieces were on the board.
Torre A1, Rook A1.
Which was amazing and had CNN like couldn't believe it. In real life, he was playing 3 players, okay? And then in the movie, he was playing John, okay, with 3 players. And in the movie, they don't have Marcel calling out all the pieces on the board that are left. And you know, Marcel was amazing. He was the most talented player I've ever come across.
Another dramatic true moment from the real-life national championships that year involved officials trying to disqualify Marcel halfway through the tournament. That moment was cut from the original film to streamline the story.
The tournament director came up to me and asked me how long Marcel had been playing at the school. And Marcel had been playing with us for about 8 months. And he said, well, I think Marcel's gonna have to be disqualified. And he had been at our school for 8 months. He had gone to the district, regional, and state championships and won all of them. And it's something that was eventually overturned and his games were allowed to qualify.
That was not the only dramatic real-life moment that had to be dropped to keep the story on track and moving forward.
An interesting story, true story, is that Cedric and Shania actually stayed together, had a baby. She got pregnant in that year. And they cut that out completely because, as you know, that would have been a complete storyline. We didn't have time.
Like any movie with a limited runtime of a couple of hours, there's only so much story that can be told when it involves the lives of dozens of people over the course of a decade. That's why producer Carla Berkowitz is currently in pre-production on a TV series to continue the story past the 1998 team.
Parallel with the film idea was always going to be a TV series spin-off like the movie Fame, because it is, you know, just like the movie Fame, it was a true story about a high school. So now we are making a TV series about the rest of the 9 years, because some of those stories, if not all, are just as magnificent, if not more, than the movie itself.
The film did a great job in a 2-hour movie. But what it wasn't able to capture is all the kids went to throughout their lives, for whether it was at home, whether it was at school, what happened, what the game and what the program did to help their lives and what they were able to do with their lives, okay, in the years ahead.
We hope you'll be back to check in with Real Be Real for more episodes soon. In the meantime, subscribe to this channel and be sure to tell the world.
Let's go.